Hello everybody and welcome back to another My Porch Prints tutorial. Today we are going to be assembling this little spooky Halloween journal kit, and for that we are going to be taking these instructions here, and they come with this little template to help you punch your holes out. So to begin, we are just going to cut that out and follow the instructions that are on the template itself and punch the holes out. Just like so. And this is going to make sure that all of our pages are perfectly aligned. So don't lose this, set it aside and save it for later. Alright, so making some room here on the table, we are going to take these little like house-shaped pages here and we are going to assemble them. So for that, you are going to want to fold them in half right down the middle and glue them together, and that is going to create a front and back page here, just like this. And I end up going over mine with a little bit of Distress Oxide in the color Ground Espresso, and that is just to cover up the white. You could just cut it off if you want, this is totally optional. Just like so. And also, if you want to, you can glue them so that you only glue the top and bottom, and that is going to create like a little hidden tuck spot in between the pages, and you can add little cards or letters or anything like that. I'm going to be making this little like note card ephemera piece into a little tuckable note. So just taking this little skull and crossbones motif and gluing it down to the card like so. And then it should just tuck in between your pages. And something to keep in mind is you're gonna need to punch holes in the bottom left corner. So if your piece is too long, it might get in the way of that. So just make sure to cut it short enough if that's something you want to do. Also, the kit comes with these little square pieces that you can make into pages, but I ended up using mine just as decorations. So I'm only going to be using these little house pieces and the papers that come with the kit as well. I'll show that a little bit later. But for now, we are going to just continue to assemble these little pages all the exact same way, just folding them in half and then gluing them together and going along the edge with Distress ink if you desire. Alright, and now that you're done with that, I printed out the pages and I printed them on cardstock. You could use them decoratively as well, but I just went ahead and made them into pages. So to do that, it's the exact same process. We're just going to print them and fold them in half like this and glue them together. Again, you could turn these into like a tuck spot if you want to. I'm just going to go ahead and glue all of mine together, keeping it really simple today. Again, using some of that Distress Oxide on any of the white that's showing. And now that we have all of our pages, we can go ahead and assemble our signatures. And there's two ways you could do it. You could take like a small, a medium, and a tall piece and layer them together like so. Or you could use all of the shorter pieces in front and all of the taller pieces in back, sort of low to high style if you want. It's really up to you, whatever you're feeling. I'm going to go ahead and stagger mine with like a shorter one, a medium one, and a taller one, like so, and just kind of continue to create 3 signatures that way. And because I'm not using the little square piece, I have 2 tall and 1 medium left over, and that's okay. I'm just going to leave that in the back like this. And this should make up my entire little booklet. And now that we have all of our signatures put together, we can go ahead and punch the holes. Just remember to remove any of the little tucked ephemera that you might have made before punching your holes, so you don't accidentally punch a hole in one of your little ephemera pieces. So to do that, I'm just going to grab a clip to help hold the template in place, and then align up the bottom left corner and punch out those holes following the guide. Again, making sure not to cut anything we don't want to cut here. And we're going to do that with every piece, and they should line up nicely. Alright, now that that's done, I'm going to grab all of the little envelopes that come with the kit, and I'm just going to assemble them the basic way that we assemble all of the envelopes in our kit, just kind of folding the bottom and the sides together and gluing those down. And you can glue yours shut if you want, or leave them open to tuck little ephemera pieces into. It's completely up to you. Alright, now that all of that is done, I am going to assemble these little cards that come with the kit, and much like the pages, we are just going to fold them in half so that they have decorations on the front and back, and then glue those flat. And if you want to, you can cut out some of this art and use it. That's what I did with one of the envelopes. I have like a little owl you can see in the upper right corner there that I decided to use on its own instead of as part of an envelope. But if you don't want to, you could just go ahead and assemble them as is shown. So cut the hole out with a punch, add a eyelet and an eyelet press to flatten it. With the little ones, I'm using a micro hole punch to cut out the hole, and then again folding them in half, gluing them together, and then using some of that distress oxide just to kind of help give them a finished look. And I decided to add a little bit of ribbon to the larger tag here. So I'm going to be taking this like thin orange ribbon I have and folding it in half. I'm just going to thread it through, creating a little loop, and pull the loose ends through that loop to secure it. Just like so. And I'm going to do it again with this like bright lime green ribbon, same process, tying a little knot here to kind of keep everything held in place. Then tying a couple knots so that they're not too loose. And then taking the loose ends, I'm going to create a little bow. Just like so. And that is my little tag finished. And then with the little tags, you could tuck them into an envelope or glue them as decoration. I decided to use some of them by securing them to the ephemera pieces with a brad, just cutting a little micro hole in the ephemera piece and then securing them together just like this, and that should allow them to swing freely. Alright, and then continuing with assembling everything and going over some of the tags and envelope with that distress oxide to finish them. Alright, and now that we have all of our assembled pieces and several ephemera pieces off table, we can go ahead and get to decorating. So I'm going to start with the very front cover piece that I've chosen, and taking a little bit of cheesecloth, I'm just going to begin decorating. There was a lot of indecisiveness since I was making things up as I went along, so I tried to only show you guys the relevant parts of having all of the pieces sort of laid to the side when I had them. So if you want to, you can decorate however you want, swap things out for different pieces if you'd like to, or if you want to save time, you could just follow along and do exactly as I'm doing. Again, just make sure not to cover up those little holes that you punched, otherwise it'll be really hard to assemble things later. Adding a little bit more cheesecloth in the corner here, and taking this little bat costume ephemera piece, pretty cute, and a little black envelope. And just to make note, I would glue the October 31st down. I didn't. I thought it would be kind of fun to like pull in and out, but it actually ended up falling out several times while I was moving the book around, so I would just glue that piece down as well. And that is the front cover finished. Alright, taking the second piece here, I decided to go kind of with an orange color scheme, kind of like working with the pumpkins theme here. And I'm going to use this orange polka dot ribbon that I have, and I'm going to sew it down to the page to make a little pocket here. And I just left some of the loose ends on mine because I kind of like the way that looks. And it should fit perfectly, this little tag. I went ahead and punched a hole, added an eyelet and an orange ribbon to it. And I'm going to be gluing some cheesecloth and a torn word. I just sort of tore the edges of the trick or treat and glued that down as well, along with this little pumpkin envelope, gluing it shut and gluing it down. Alright, and I'm going to add this little orange pumpkin circle here to the very top of the page. And later I end up adding a bingo card and one of the tags with an orange ribbon. So you'll see that later on, but just not right now. Right, so finishing up assembling that page with, I had this little scrap piece that I accidentally cut off one of the envelopes, so I'm just going to use that to make a little border for this little journal word, pumpkins. And I'm just going to cut that into a rectangle and then glue it down on top of the pocket. Just like so. And that is the second page done. Alright, jumping onto the third page here, I'm taking one of those little squares and I'm just going to tear it diagonally just to make a pocket, and I'm only using one half here, but save the other half, we'll be using it later. And for this pocket I decided to add a little bit of this black see-through like lace ribbon here, and I'm going to glue the ribbon to the pocket. Again, I would do this off of your actual piece. I almost glued the piece down to the page before it was ready. It would have ruined the pocket, so just be careful doing this part. Make sure that you kind of allow it to dry. And I'm going to cut that ribbon and just make it a little more distressed, kind of following the edge of the tear here. Just like that. And then adding glue to the sides and bottom of that pocket and gluing it down in the corner. Being careful not to cover up those holes again that we punched. And then I'm just going to add this little spider tag and this little like spider ephemera note card as well. And then I have this these letters that spell out Halloween, and I'm just going to cut those apart and I'm going to lay them down sort of to get an idea of what I like, kind of in like a W formation. And then once I'm sure everything fits, I will glue it down. Then add this little number 13 ticket here and a little faux seal. Just like that. And this page is finished. And now we have completed one whole signature. Sort of just check out how it looks, and if you're happy with it, you can go ahead and set that aside and grab your next signature. Alright, now that we have all of these pages, I'm going to begin decorating again. Same process, just sort of finding some pieces I like. Cheesecloth, I tore the word boo and added some distress ink around the edge of it, and then the rest is just sort of gluing things down where you like it. Of course, you can use any pieces you want. We actually have several Halloween ephemera kits, so if you want more decorating options, I will have links to those down in the description box below if you are interested in checking those out. Now for the second page, I tried to go with like a purple color scheme, so I took this like candy piece, and I'm going to be tearing it apart into 3 separate pieces and then going over it with Distress Oxide, as well as taking these letters that spell boo and a little bit of this sheer purple ribbon that I have, and I'm going to make like a little cross pattern here, just gluing that down to this page, cutting off any extra, and then arranging my ephemera on top of that and gluing all of that down as well. And when I was doing this, I decided to turn one of the candies into a pocket for that October 31st. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue everything down except for that pocket will be only the sides and bottom. sort of just arranging things. I was just kind of making things up as I went, so there was a lot of rearranging and indecisiveness while decorating this piece. It took me a little bit longer than I thought it would, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out in the end. I think it's pretty cute and fun. And you could always make this just for yourself, or you could give it away as a gift, like create pockets with like little candy pieces or something like that, like a little Halloween card. There's lots of different options for this journal. All right, so now that this page is finished, we can go ahead and move on to the final page for this signature. And for that, I'm grabbing that torn other half of that pocket we made from earlier and several little ephemera pieces, including this little faux stamp here. We're going to be folding this in half and using it to make like a little hinge for this envelope so that when it flips up, it can have an image, or you could even put like a letter on the back or something like that, like a little note. I'm just going to go ahead and use this cute little owl on a pumpkin here. So I'm going to glue it to the back of this envelope, and then taking some scissors, I'm going to cut off the remaining extra that's showing here. And this should just make like a little flip up tag that can go on the page. I was sort of going for like a little like old-fashioned notice board kind of was the idea with this one. I don't know, it's just sort of making up whatever was coming to mind and just kind of having fun with the crafting today. So just going to go ahead and glue those, what do you call them? Let's go ahead and glue some of those like back parts down, and then working our way to the higher layers. That's it, a back layer. That's what I'm looking for, not a back piece. Just gluing those back layers down and then moving to the upper layers as we go. And I'll not be using that torn piece to make a pocket. It's just going to be decorative on this page. And here's where we're going to make that little hinge. We're just going to add a little glue to both sides of the fold and glue one fold down to like one side of the fold down to the envelope and one side down to the page, just like this. And then before it dries, just make sure that it flips right, and if it does, then you're good. All right, and then just continue on with the decorating here using this little owl envelope. Thought it was pretty cute. And another one of those faux wax seals. And then I have this word costume. I'm just going to cut out all of those letters and sort of arrange them in a up-down stagger at the bottom of the page. And there you go. This page is finished. Oh, I also added the word spooky on top. My camera died and I didn't get to catch that, but I added like a little distressed word right up here to cover that corner. All right, and moving on to the front of our final signature here, I'm going to be taking this little alphabet card and I'm going to be turning it into a pocket. So just adding some distress ink, and then I'll be gluing the sides and bottom down to the page. And I also ended up adding a small tag to it, like with a brad. You'll want to do that before gluing it down. It'll just make your life a little bit easier in the long run. Obviously I did not do that because I decided it after the fact. Sometimes it do be like that. Alright, just adding that little folding tag there, and then adding a larger tag to the pocket, and then just going in with some of these decorative ephemera pieces, including a small envelope with the word candy. I just sort of tore it and tucked it in there. I also had a green envelope and I added some cheesecloth and the word black cats to it, again distressed and torn. And then I also had some of these googly eyes that I found in a drawer and I thought might be kind of cute and fun for this page. So I'll just be taking the glue and gluing them down to any of the sort of like open spaces that are left after the decorating. And if you don't have the googly eyes, that's fine. You don't have to use them. They're, again, entirely optional. I just kind of thought they were kind of fun and cute. So what's your plan for Halloween? Anybody doing anything fun? I think we're gonna have a little pumpkin carving party at my mom's house with me and my sister. Alright, so that page is finished. Cute little eyes sort of looking around. Alright, and now we can work on second to last page here. And I just sort of had a lot of little ephemera pieces left over, so there wasn't a ton of planning for this page. I kind of just glued things down where I liked them, just trying to kind of use up all of the pieces that I still had. I guess there's kind of like a little witchy theme sort of going on, maybe. Maybe I'm just reaching. Right, adding this little pumpkin seed packet, I went ahead and tucked a little tag in there with the green and orange bow. And using little ephemera pieces and a wax seal here, as well as this little Halloween circle. And then I took a little scrap piece of that orange ribbon, and I'm just using it to make a border around the word witches. And this is going to finish up this page. Alright, last but not least, we are going to be making the final page here, taking that brown square that is left, and again tearing it diagonally, gluing it down to the corner here, not making a pocket, just decorative. And I'm going to be making like a little ransom note page here with these little letters that I have left. I chose the word ghosts and pumpkins and witches, and I'm going to be moving those aside real fast. After I sort of laid everything out where I liked it, I decided to go ahead and add some ribbon here. So I'll be using that black lace, that orange polka dot, and that sort of like see-through purple mesh. And I'm just gluing it to the top, bottom, and middle. And then using some glue, I'm going to lay the ands flat in between the ribbon pieces. And then using the letters and a little bit of puff tape, I'm going to be sticking those down on top of the ribbon. And I'm aware that I spelled ghosts wrong. My mother pointed it out to me. My bad. Do as I say and not as I do. H before O. Alright, and that little page is finished here. Just like that. We can go ahead and add all of our other pages and sort of assemble the full booklet here. Make sure that you like the order that they are in. And if you're happy, we can go ahead and take some binder rings here and clip all of these pages together. Stacking them all up, just like so. And we're going to go ahead and do one final flip through here just to sort of see the finished product. And here you can see where I added that bingo card and that extra ticket here, or the tag, excuse me. And again, I only decorated the front portions, but if you wanted to, you could decorate the back, or maybe print out some lined paper to make like some writing space. Lots of different things you could do. You could add pockets and fill them with like candy or something like that. It's entirely up to you. Alright, so that is going to finish today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and happy Halloween to you all. We'll see you next time. Bye!